Welcome to Focal Point. My name is Carla Green. I am the director of the Regional Prevention Center at the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And with me today, I have Cassandra Hearon. Welcome.
Thank you.
Cassandra is a member of the Ralph Bunche Society, a student organization here on campus. And today she's going to talk to us about that organization, about some history behind it, and then some of the things that that group is doing, and then specifically about her involvement with Ralph Bunche. So let me start with Ralph Bunche. What is it? I believe that Ralph Bunche was the first person of color to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Correct. Right? It was in 1949.
Okay. And why did he win the prize that year?
Well, he was very active in a lot of peace issues surrounding Israel and the Arab nations, and he helped them to create peace, the UN and the U.S. Organizations. So within establishing that, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in doing so.
And he was a skilled mediator, was he not? Do a lot with mediation in the Middle East, is that
correct?
Okay.
Yes.
What else can you tell me about Ralph Bunche?
Well, he was born in 1920. He was born in 1921. He passed away in 1971. He went to Howard University. He was really an emphasis on a lot of interracial activities because the schools that he was attending and everything, they had a lot of racial conflict in them, and he was doing the most that he could so he can eliminate that. So he was, I can describe him not in comparison to, but in efforts according to like Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a graduating class. I'm from Howard University. He was a doctor. He did a lot of great things.
So what is it? What are the characteristics of his, or maybe some of the things that he did that would cause individuals to want to start organizations named after him? What is it about him?
Well,
or what did he stand for?
Well, possibly peace. That was one of the biggest things, peace among minorities.
Right.
So being that the country was going through a lot of different civil rights aspects when he was successing in his programs, there were a lot of advantages that people could have, accumulated from the things that he did.
Right.
And because of the time frame when he passed away, there were a lot of open ends to the whole arrangement of peace and the efforts that he was doing. Okay. So there were a lot of people that wanted to establish what he was standing for when he passed away.
And I know we hear about the things that he did globally, so overseas. Was he active in the United States also, do you know?
Right, he was active in the United States, but mostly he was helping people promote their political leadership throughout the country. He was helping to establish, children or college-aged people, so they would go into political science and become active in the whole global ideas and communications for the U.S. to the UN peacekeeping.
Okay. So today, with Ralph Bunche Society here on campus, what's the purpose of that organization?
Well, the purpose here is to, like from Ralph Bunche and what he was doing, is to help promote independent political leadership.
Okay.
They deal with here on campus, we do a lot of internships and interactions with the political science divisions for and through the UN peacekeeping models. So currently active here on campus, if you were to come and be a member of the Ralph Bunche Society, you would be involved in the peacekeeping efforts in Africa right now. The current project is the 2015 Africa, turning from the continent of Africa and turning it into a country, just one country, instead of a whole continent. So,
wow. So what's involved in that process?
Well, all the countries in Africa have to come to an agreement of peace to agree to have one government over all the countries there.
Right.
So it's a real difficult situation. There are a lot of people that are hesitant, and it's a long drawn out process. So it's not to be completed until 2015. So that's one of the things, the major things that the Ralph Bunche Society here on campus is focusing on.
And so what's the reason for wanting that consolidation?
Well, because it surrounds united peace, international peace.
Okay.
And the whole political aspect of it is, peace from the United States of America to the United Nations, all around global peace. So global communication, so there won't be wars and disturbances that are unnecessary while they're changing the situation around in Africa.
Okay. You may not know this. Do you know what the reaction of many Africans is to this proposed change? I mean,
they're more for it. They're more into change in Africa right now. They're establishing colleges and universities and coming into more industrial living in Africa. So they're looking for the leadership that they need to keep themselves together. So the efforts that they're on, excluding starvation and all the other issues that they have over there. So they're more cooperative. I'm guessing there are a lot of people that want to intervene in the situation, so they're they're prepared.
Right.
They're prepared for the change.
Right. So, and I know change can be difficult on any level, and I would imagine that when you are talking about change involving an entire continent, that has to be just a mammoth undertaking. Do you know what's being promised? I guess how do I get someone to buy into that concept? If I'm an African, what are you going to say to me?
Well, it would be beneficial for the whole situation for people to keep peace because, like prior to the whole goal of the 2015 Millennium Goal, the people there, they were ran by mostly militia, militant groups. They had very little order among them. They have a lot of diseases and crises that they deal with originally, and they have no one to really ordain them. The people are without a lot of resources that they need. The water supply is bad there, so it would be beneficial to allow a one government system over there to cooperate all the needs of the African people, being that the climate and the other things in the country are so scarce. So to bring together the efforts of the whole one government system is to cooperate all the people so they don't have so many different people looking into the country trying to help and they don't know where to start, or other people come in to ruin it from the other countries. So if it's just a one country thing, it's easier for them to grow, to have the freedom to grow.
Right. And so I'm assuming there are already provisions in place for what their government would look like. I'm assuming, is it a democracy that they're trying to institute?
Well, they're going for a government system over there, something like we have in the United States of America.
Okay.
They want the president, the Congress, and all of that to fall into place for their country. The whole UN simulation is an African Union model simulation. It's been taking place while the whole process is going to change. We, as the Ralph Bunche Society, we just came back from Washington, D.C. Last February from one of the models. We, as the students, we got to get together and have different committees, and we helped decide on the different situations there with, like the government, help fight the issues going on surrounding government, peace, security, and other aspects of there. And we get together in a council with other universities across the United States of America, and they helped adopt ideas from the college students and put them in effect for the government system there for the 2015 leadership ideas. So basically they help promote the leaders for the future of Africa, to train them and get them into the whole congressional attitude that they need.
And so you've mentioned the UN a few times. Is the UN actively involved in this process in any way?
Correct. It's the United Nations. We have the United Nations headquarters is located here in the United States of America in New York City. They're very active participants. They help keep peace while the whole situation is changing. They've always been in collaboration with peacekeeping efforts. I'm a member of the United Nations outside of school, so it's a great committee, so to say. Yeah, it's a great. They're really active in this situation.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm going to take a sidebar here away from Ralph Bunche for a minute. You mentioned that you are a member of the United Nations. I didn't know that you could just join the United Nations. How does that work?
Well, they take, students and just members.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to join, they have their own website. You can go apply. Mm-hmm. They'll take your membership fees and dues, and you can sign up yearly efforts, lifetime efforts, however long you want to be a member to help assist in the peace of the world.
Okay.
So
what have you participated in any activities as part of that membership?
Well,
Not
basically
yet.
Not yet. I have an outside of school. No, Ralph Bunche Society here is, the whole aspect of the participation that I have. So.
Right. That is so cool. So with the things that are going on in Africa right now, like I said, that is a mammoth change there. Outside of participating in Washington, D.C. as part of just kind of brainstorming and walking through the process of coming up with some ideas, do you see Ralph Bunche Society, especially the one here on campus, being even more involved in that process in any way?
Well, if the students from the school want to pursue political science, the Ralph Bunche Society fully helps them. They grant write for them. They do proposals and things for them, internships they offer them. As far as we, the Ralph Bunche Society, the committee here on campus, we only participate in limited activities regarding that project. So the African Union model, it happens throughout the year. Basically, the Ralph Bunche Society here participates in it annually. So, since we've been a committee here on campus.
Right. How long have you been a committee on campus?
Actually, we just got nominated to becoming a committee last year.
Okay.
So we got voted in. It's the first one here in Kansas. It's a great success for the Ralph Bunche Society here at the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. So
you were the first Ralph Bunche organization in the state of Kansas?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, I am impressed now.
Right.
That's pretty good. And you've already taken a trip to Washington, D.C., and you're active in the process. And you are quite knowledgeable for about an organization that has not been in existence that long.
Right.
I've got to say I'm impressed. Did you know about Ralph Bunche before coming here?
Prior to, no, I had no knowledge of him.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Cassandra a little bit more about the Ralph Bunche Society and more specifically about some of the things that they're doing here on campus, some things that they're doing locally, and then also what involvement in a student organization has meant to her as a student. So please join us after the break.
Every day, thousands of people are diagnosed with macular degeneration, a disabling eye disease that leads to severe vision loss. As a scientist conducting research for the American Health Assistance Foundation, I want you to know that there is hope that a cure and new treatments for macular degeneration will soon be found, but only if we can continue our groundbreaking research. Learn about my research. Call 1-800-437-2423 or visit ahaf.org for free publications on eye disease.
There's a saying, do what you love, love what you do. At Kansas City, Kansas Community College Technical Education Center, you can choose from 20 technical programs, affordable programs designed to prepare you for high-demand jobs. You can be prepared for the job you love in 1 year or less. Visit us online at kckcc.edu or call today about the wide variety of technical education programs offered at the Technical Education Center at 2220 North 59th Street, phone 627-4100.
Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm here again with Cassandra Hearon, and we're talking about the Ralph Bunche Society here on the Kansas City, Kansas Community College campus. And we've talked about some of the things that this group has done. It's a very young organization. Tell me a little bit about any activities that you all may have participated in here on campus.
Well, we first had our first annual Peace Luncheon. Okay. We invited a lot of the staff here at the college and gave them awards for all of their success here at the school, for their participation in encouraging the students and just pretty much hanging out, hanging and sticking through their jobs. Okay. So that was last fall. We haven't really done a lot of other things. We've been to Washington, D.C. 2 times since the committee established. One last year and this year too, both spring semesters.
And were those trips to Washington, D.C., were they both related to the activities that are taking place in Africa?
Yes.
Okay. Were they the same in nature, in that you broke up into your small groups and were coming up with those ideas that could be implemented?
Yes, they were both surrounding the whole 2015 goal.
Okay.
Two separate groups of students got a chance to go. Two separate ideas on each
Right.
trip. Two separate countries were surrounding the whole discussion. One was Sudan, and the other one was the island of the Comoro Islands, both located in Africa. They were two different studies, two different subjects, but they were both related.
So when you go to those events, you are given information about specific countries, and so when you make your decisions, you're doing that with those two specific countries in mind.
Correct. We get prior to information regarding the countries. We get to do research on them, real research, real current events, hands-on activity. Basically, they're as current as it can be.
Right. In your experience, and I know this is all new for you, do you know if there are Native Africans who are here in the United States who are active in Ralph Bunche Society?
Yes, there are, actually. Yes. There have been 3 so far participants. One has graduated and actually attends school in Washington, D.C. now.
Okay.
He was a participant in the Ralph Bunche Society before he left. Other than that, there are 2 other students. One, she no longer attends here. At the other one, he's still actively participating in the political science department.
It sounds like, as we've talked about Ralph Bunche, and we've talked a lot about Africa, it sounds like there's a lot of social issues that are global that are being addressed. Do you know, are there any national things that are specific to the United States, any social issues that are addressed by Ralph Bunche?
Well, most of the social issues here that are addressed are like poverty-stricken people, people that don't have money to further their education in world leadership. They focus on the minority aspect here in the country to help promote success and scholarly in that area so people can prepare themselves for global situations and global communications.
So how do you do that? I mean, because obviously we are becoming a global society. I mean, you can't ignore that fact. And so the social inequities that used to just be, in this little pocket over here are now becoming known around the world as we begin to interact as a world. What are some of the things that you would do, or that the Ralph Bunche Society could do locally to address social inequities?
Well, actually, we're trying to participate in inviting high school students to already prepare them before they get to college. So they'll be aware already prior to, and they'll be more active and want to be more interested in the political science aspect. So reaching the community is a big goal for the Ralph Bunche Society because there are so few people that want to take initiative in world leadership for whatever reason.
Right.
They're all in their other career studies, but so we try to go out and greet the community with the idea.
And with high school students, can you anticipate maybe what their reaction would be to, you're asking them to come out of their own little box right here because they're typically focused on themselves, and you're asking them to think about something that's happening halfway around the world. What do you think the reaction will be from those students as you approach them?
Well, I'm thinking they'll more be anticipating college, the college experience. When they get here, they won't be so confused about making decisions. They'll be focused on, what the future stands for and means for them. So bringing them out of high school and preparing them for college to get them right back into school so they don't get lost in the process. It's a great way to mentor to high school students and not apply the responsibility on them so much, but to just make them aware of it. That's an option for them.
So what led you to join this organization?
Well, I was involved in the Students for Global Peace Committee, and while I was doing global work for the Students for Global Peace Committee, the same leader here, the same teacher that's here, Dr. Ewa Onoke, he runs the Students for Global Peace Committee. He was the one that approached me with the idea to help him keep organization of the new committee that's being established.
Okay.
So,
What interests you about it? About world peace, the globalization? What interests you about that particular subject?
Well, the whole aspect of peace, the whole past situations like here in the country with the situation in New York, with the September 11th attack, other issues around the world where the war in Afghanistan and all of the crises around the world that happen because of the people that suffer, where people like that fight and die and things to help avoid situations like that. I'm all for that. I need a place to stay like everyone else here on earth. So it's really devastating to learn about all of the things that are happening to these people because of the non-peaceful aspects too around the world situation. So anything that I can do to help. And besides my major, I'm going to pursue a religious major. It also ties into peace too.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity for me to learn.
So we see, obviously, the social ills that plague our country and our world. If we don't do anything to address those, what are some potential consequences?
We could be, anyone could run the country. Anyone can make decisions for us. Economy can go either which way. It could be run from another country, as far as we're concerned. We could lose control financially in our country if people don't step up for these political aspects in life to help promote world leadership, just for the United States of America alone, and get involved in interacting internationally. So there's a lot of things and situations that we could fail in this country by if not enough people want to do, to promote peace, the idea of it.
And as we talk about social inequities and addressing those issues, obviously there's there's a political aspect to that. How involved does the society get in politics?
Well, the society basically outside of school in the community, registering to vote is a big opportunity for them. Year round, they're willing to make donations and contributions. They're willing to listen. They're willing to come to gatherings about peace and security. They want to stay active. They'll sign their name to participate in other activities if they need to. But a lot of people, they mostly just want to see the doings happen. As far as just staying out of it with their own lives.
So what has this done for you as a student? I'm big on student engagement. I think that especially outside of the classroom, that students need to be actively involved in some non-academic functions on campus. So you seem to get that. What has that done for you? Or has it done anything for you?
Right. It's made me more aware of what's going on around the world, not just here in the state of Kansas or here locally in Kansas City. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of friendship. There's a lot of peace efforts going on out there. I'm really happy and opportuned to have this situation here for me. I'm really thankful for it. It's eye-opening. I've learned a lot from it. To help collaborate my degree with some of the things of the world that are happening. It's just a great opportunity all the way around.
Does it change the way maybe you view other people? It's so easy to stereotype. You look at someone and you make judgments about that person based on the way they dress, the color of their skin, things like that. Does being involved in something global cause you to kind of take a step back and maybe not evaluate people so quickly?
Well, yes, it does. I don't look at people. I never really been stereotypically pointing people out like that. But a lot of the things that I came across when people are dealing with peace is that there are a lot of people that want to deal with peace, and it makes it a big conflict. And besides the whole who they're dealing with when they have to talk to each other, they don't know how to keep conversation respectfully. There are a lot of different religions, a lot of different people violating people's religions and their law and order and the things that they do regarding peace efforts. So it's really complicated. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't want to do it, you just do it because. So you have to have a self-driven spirit to communicate with peace.
And isn't that interesting that, with you and I can have the same goal, wanting to work toward peace, but we can have conflict in trying to achieve that goal
correct.
because we're wanting to do it in a different way,
Right.
perhaps. I think those are great lessons learned because things are not always going to go your way. You're not always going to have everyone who believes the same thing that you do and wants to do the same thing that you want to do. You have to learn how to get along with other people. And it sounds like, and I would think that your experience in Washington, D.C., where you're bringing in students from all over the country, that would really be an opportunity to practice those conflict management skills where you have to learn how to get along and play nicely.
Yes.
Did you experience any of that?
Well, actually, I got to participate in the whole preparation for the simulation,
Okay.
but I didn't actually get to go on the trip. So while I was here preparing, researching and getting all the facts and everything, I'm aware that when the conference is in effect, there are other world leaders that come in
Right.
and gather.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a great opportunity to actually meet the people that are in charge, that are actually responsible for running the countries and responsible for making the resolutions happen.
Right.
So
have you learned anything from being involved in this group that you will be able to take with you when you leave this campus?
Right. I've met a lot of people. I can still call on them if I needed to. There are a lot of different goals like the 2015 that I'll be aware of when I graduate to take into mind regarding my degree and the career aspect that I'm pursuing.
Okay.
So
I'm one of your classmates, sit right next to you in biology, one of my worst subjects. You have 30 seconds to convince me to join. Give me a reason to join the Ralph Bunche Society. What would you say to me?
Okay, well, right now, currently, we're in the middle of a fundraiser, so I'd probably be asking you if you wanted to purchase one of the bracelets that the Ralph Bunche Society has ordered and composed. The bracelet is identified as a Peace Diplomat bracelet. It's clear and written on the bracelet. I would ask you if you want to know more about the program first, just to see what a Peace Diplomat is, if you have time. If you want to make arrangements, I'd invite you in to talk with the professor, so you could meet him and see if you can arrange it in your schedule. Basically, you'd probably already want to be a part of it because it speaks for itself. It's a good cause.
Right. So you're very accommodating. You're going to work with me to try to get me in there. I think you all are doing great work. Like I said, I think global peace obviously is a noble calling, to want to try to work toward that. And I commend you for being involved in those activities and for agreeing to do the interview, for calling to schedule that. Anything else you want to add about Ralph Bunche?
To whomsoever, if you would like to recommend that students be available, like there are a lot of people that are graduating from the college. There are a lot of opportunities available for people to take lead roles in the Ralph Bunche Society, the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. All the positions will be open and available, so if there's anyone that wants to join, just see Dr. Ewa Noke, the professor in the political science division.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us here today on Focal Point, and we will see you next time.